all we're going to do today is put these connections, or put something here so our motors connect really easily. We'll just plug right into the top and we're done. So essentially this will be mounted on our shield, and so it'll look like this, and then we can just plug our servo in like that. So what we need to decide is where it's going to be. What we have on our servo is that the yellow line is going to our control pin, the middle one is a 5 volt, and the black one is our ground. And on our shield we have a 5 volt rail going on this side, a ground rail going on this side, and then we have access to our pins right here. So we need to basically take 3 wires and decide where we want to put that. I guess the first thing we'll do is decide where we want our pins to be, or our headers to be, and then we can actually tack those on with our soldering iron. And just hold it on just long enough so I can tack it down with the solder. And as you can see, that kind of is at an angle, and that's why you tack it, so you can then bend it straight. And it's easy to loosen, or I could use the soldering iron and melt that one pin and then position it straight if I needed to. It's very difficult if you have 3 of them, and then you have to suck out the solder out of a couple of them before you can get it loose. So you just want to make sure you have decided where everything is at before you commit to soldering all 3. And so I have a space of two hole space between the 2. I think that's fine. And we know 9 and 10 are, well, they're right along here. So just in the name of not crossing over too many things, we should maybe put our control line on this side. And so that's what we'll decide our standard is, that the control is going to be on this side, the ground on this side, and that works out too because the ground is along here. Like a piece of black wire that's essentially going to go like this. I'll add that in like this, and that looks good. And now I have this long piece coming from under here, and then I'll just lay it over both pins. Ground is going to both pins just with 1 wire, rather than cutting a whole lot of wire just to do 2 of them. I'm trying to be efficient. Alright, so the ground now is done. So I soldered it here to the rail, and then I soldered it to both of the inside pins on our header. So now we need to get a 5 volt going down the center, and we'll do something that's similar. So we'll just go like this, and it kind of bends like that. So it's very important, obviously, that you don't accidentally connect the ground to the 5 volt. So you do have to be pretty precise here. Falling off, so I'm going to use my rubber band again to hold that wire down so it doesn't slide out as I'm tacking it down. The control lines are going to be very easy because I'm not doing this kind of fancy footwork thing where. So those are probably okay. It looks good from here on inspecting it. Oh, I don't know, I'll use, so 9 and 10. Let's just do this as quickly as we can. So that went through D9, pin 9, and it's coming up through here next to the control pin on that. Okay, that one is done. And afterwards we're going to go through and just trim off some of these long pieces and clean up our circuit. So what I'm going to do is, you see the long ones that are up there, I'm just going to trim them because we don't need. And the more like dangling long pieces you have, the more likelihood they'll short circuit on some other things. So yeah, that's all nice and cleaned up. And it should work. We'll slide it on here. I'll show you it all plugged in. I have the L and the U. Here is for the lower servo. U is for the upper servo. So the lower servo is the blue wire, and that goes to 9. And so this is the lower servo, and so it should go to the one that's further away from the USB connector. And we know that the ground is on this side. That guy slides it. Oh, it's nice and tight. It doesn't wiggle at all. And all the other little rants that I go on about all the wires being everywhere gets solved in this nice little thing called a prototyping shield.